Hey, what's up everybody? It's Kellen here from Start Your Systems and welcome back to MX Bikes, where today we're going to be playing Dreamland MX, a newly released track in the game on the MXB mods page by TBELL. And if you don't know what Dreamland is, it is a pretty, I feel like, iconic track at this point in time. It is in Florida, I believe, and it was owned for a while by Luke Rensland and the Rensland family. I don't know if it still is or not, but I do know that it was very popularized as Rensland's place for a while, and there's also some really sick videos that came out on Dreamland. And for a while, it also became like the hottest commodity of like a compound to be built, especially in MX Simulator, but I think it also got built in MX ATV Reflex. And I think it was also built in bikes at one point, but it's maybe been a little while. Either way, this is a new version of it, a new rendition of it. As far as I can tell, the track is still pretty much identical to what it's been over the years, so not a lot of changes right there. But shout out to TBELL for releasing this absolutely gorgeous track. Literally living a dream right now, riding Dreamland. So we're going to spend a couple laps on it. I'll talk about the track a little bit. I'll talk about, I guess a little bit of the backstory that I know of about this track. And we'll give some props to TBELL for releasing this awesome track. This is the most iconic part of the track right here, is this double to big tabletop sequence right in the middle. I'm just going to hit them pretty straight air to start, just so that I can actually clear them, land them, and don't go down. And we'll go to third person eventually in this video, toss some fatties, get some people excited about it. But yeah, this track, to me, it's like your very typical like Florida compound in that there's not a lot of elevation in the area. So what they've done is they basically, dug little valleys and little areas around the track to create jumps, and then because they dig those valleys, they have more dirt to actually build standalone jumps and stuff like that. Like every Florida compound, I feel like, has some version of this because there's not a lot of elevation, like I said, in Florida. So because of that, you tend to get a usually like pretty jumpy training facility, which is what this was supposed to be. And I think Jason Baker of Dream Tracks originally built it back in 2013, I think this was, 2014-ish area. And like I said, it was Rensland's place. And a lot of guys have ridden here, trained here, etc., etc. I don't know like the current status of it, how much it's in use, because if Rensland still owns it, Rensland doesn't super race professionally anymore, but he does dabble from time to time. And I think that I've seen videos of this place recently, so I'm pretty sure it's still in use. Regardless of which, it's, like I said, it's picturesque. It's one of the most visually stunning compounds in Florida, just because of how much elevation they were able to garner from moving the terrain around and making it what they did. And then it's super jumpy, which of course most people love the jumps. They love the ability to throw whips. They love seeing pro athletes get upside down and whip. I think maybe one of the most like all-time videos that came from this one is the Verb Platinum on Dreamland, which I believe, if I remember correctly, was Rensland, Jordan Smith when he was on Geico, still an amateur maybe even, and then I think Jimmy Dakotas and Cooper Webb sounds about right that we're also in that, but I could be wrong. Either way, like I said, a lot of guys have ridden here, trained here, all that, and I don't really know, like, I'd always be curious to ask, like, someone that trains in Florida a lot, like a Webb or someone like that who trains at Baker's factory. You don't get the big downhills and the chop and some of the stuff that you experience outdoors. So how much does it actually help you to have a facility like this to train on? Because you'd think, theoretically speaking, they're not getting a lot of like really great testing done, but they're also riding consistently, so that probably helps. But you're not like able to test out too much of what it feels like suspension-wise coming down a big downhill or anything like that. You can only deal with what terrain that you have added onto the track or the compound. So interesting that like Florida is obviously a hotbed for training facilities, but I don't know how much like it actually works for what needs to be done for each guy at these facilities. So just a little something that I figure I'd maybe ask at some point. I'll mark it down. Maybe I'll try to ask it this weekend in Arlington when I go. But yeah, like I said, so this compound is a heck of a lot of fun, and TBELL did a great job with it. He also thanked a couple people in his post. He wanted to thank Steeler, J Mertz, and the rest of the System Decal team for helping them build it. If you notice, there's a banner just to my right there that is the System Decal logo. And J Mertz, Josh Mertens, is the founder of System Decal, so I think that's why he thanked him. Maybe J Mertz helped him with the beta testing or what have you. I'm not 100% sure on like the whole backstory behind that side of it, but cool to see System Decal still around and involved in video games, and now a part of this compound in some shape or form. And also, like I said, it's cool when you have like a pretty noticeably awesome compound like this. It's a big name facility as well, and it gets released for free to the community. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't support the creators that want their tracks to be paid, but I do also think there needs to be a subsect of the community that still does stuff for free, so that you garner new players to be interested in it. Otherwise, if everything's a paid mod, you're never going to get new players, because they'll load it up, see how much they got to pay to get even some of the good stuff, and they'll leave. That's kind of what's killed Sims. So I think that to a degree, it's good to have a mix of both in bikes, where you have the the creators still making money for their work, but also you still have some creators that are doing it simply to grow the fan base a little bit. So I like that TBELL released this one for free, because I feel like this is going to be a really popular one with a lot of newer players to the game, to basically just have a compound that they can go out there and throw big whips on. So yeah, I definitely like that. Let's jump over to third person and see if I can just pop it on this double. Boom, nailed it. And let's throw some whips. My whips are not the best, and my run-ups to get this whip right here is also not going to be the best. I think you can still get enough speed to kind of toss it out there. Oh, we're going long. Come on, why am I doing this? I got too much speed when I messed up the entire sand section before. But like I said, my whips are not the best. I don't really spend too much time in this game practicing whips, because I spend so much time just trying to practice going in a straight line on a supercross track, especially right now. But I feel like they're decent enough to look pretty good and float out there. That's an awful one right there. So I'll apologize in advance for anybody that just watched that and said, "Oh my God, that looked like a super Monster Energy Supercross the game whip." But for the most part, I feel like I'm pretty solid. I'm also not terrible at like little like scrub layouts like that. Like those are really fun to me when you have like the turn down and then the rear end kicks out really high like that, and you can kind of turn the wheel back the other way and turn it from a scrub into a whip. Definitely like those. Just toss a little like flick scrub right there. Beautiful. But there's a lot of jumps on this track that are very, very whippable. I like these little things that he did right here, where you can use the braking bumps to kind of go over the edge of the corners right there, even though I just tire tapped to death. So he's done a couple cool things with this compound that like are just kind of subtle if you don't really pay that much attention to it, but work really, really well with this game's physics. And I think that's cool. Like, it's awesome that he took the time to add that instead of just like laying a base, laying a couple huge jumps and saying like, yep, I built a compound, go ride it. I feel like he put some work into it. Now the rest of it is, like outside the facility, and it's kind of Florida anyway, so I can't necessarily blame him, but clearly he just laid down like a bazillion trees as the environment side of it, and that, like I said, is very Florida-ish anyway, so it's not like it's wrong, but doesn't look like it's aesthetically, super awesome to just have trees galore everywhere. I think it's supposed to be a little bit more sparse than it is. And another thing too is this compound, I think, does have a supercross track on it up by where the starting gate is on this track. So I don't know, he only did the national track. Maybe he just didn't want to have to build another supercross track, because sometimes those can be a little bit tricky to get right. But those are like my only like little gripes about this track. Otherwise, it's perfect. It's very beautiful, picturesque. The jumps that he has on the compound are awesome and work super well for whipping and scrubbing and doing all the fun stuff that you guys like to see and do. So this is awesome. It was a great compound, well put together. So good job to the beta testers who provided feedback as well, and said, maybe shorten this jump or do this or clean it up over here, whatever, because it rides really, really well. Oh, didn't realize I was still in third gear. Scrub over that guy. All right, so let's try to get this a little bit cleaner. We'll come up and we'll kick out to the right and then kick back to the left. So a little flick out right there. And let's get absolutely naughty right here. Oh, bring it back. Ah, I have a problem in this game with throwing whips out that I feel like I want to leave it out there like that little bit longer just to make it look like, oh, so crisp and clean. Oh, that was dirty, but I'm not bringing that back. I want to make it feel crisp and clean and like feel that little like extra kick out or whatever. But I always miss like that equilibrium point then of when it's the right time to start bringing it back around. So like I gotta train my brain to be a little bit better of like, yes, I want to kick it out and I want it to look awesome, but I also need to like bring it back. Like right now, I need to bring it back, and then boom, there you go, land it perfect. So I miss that moment in time too much. Like look at that, that's so fun right there, just floating over that corner. You can do it in both of these corners. I'm kind of just cutting the track at this point, but yeah, like to include that, the big jumps. I will say like one thing that this track does for me, at least in bikes, is it's got a pretty good mix of like low speed tech and high speed transitions, like with the big jumps, trying to land them, time them right, know how much speed you have off a jump face, everything like that. But also low speed corners to like stay a little bit more measured in your approach and not just like blast every corner wide open. Like you actually do have to slow down, like this little like scrubber opportunity right there. That's a lot of fun to hit that. Not the best at bringing those scrubs back either, but a little hip jump right here. Like there's just so many like cool little nuanced details all around the track that it just ties together so well. It's so much fun to connect it and throw the whips in between everything as well. Like if you're good enough and skilled enough at the game to not only do a good lap on the track, but also every jump you're kicking out little whips or, you know, flicking a scrub here or there, whatever it is. Like it just is such a fun flow. The sand section, I also think you did a great job of making it so the resistance of the sand holds you back enough that you're not really cooking through there, and the rollers are not so pointy and spiky that you just get tossed around and crash a bunch. So really nice job on that. Little inside, you know, prepared ruts here and there also worked pretty well in my opinion. So yeah, like it's just a good clean compound, like well put together. A lot of thought went into jump shapes, I feel like, and it's nicely done. So many props to TBELL. We're gonna try to get one last filthy whip off on these two jumps right here. But thanks TBELL for the track. Definitely a lot of fun. All right, let's go right here. Oh, why the front end bounce? Got that Pabobo bounce going. Looking like Chase Sexton 360ing off the jump right here. All right, let's go back. We got to get one absolutely naughty whip off right here to end the video and hopefully bring it back. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. This is a lot of fun always checking out tracks like these. Just like, we'll keep it light on the first jump. Land like this, and yeah. All right, bring it back, bring it back. Oh, too far with the bring back. Ah, unbelievable. But anyway, that is track walk, or just a look over at Dreamland MX. I don't know if I'm gonna even call this a track walk video, but I appreciate you guys stopping by and watching another one here on Start Your Systems. We're gonna throw one more whip train right here, and we'll send you guys on your way. Look at that. Oh, 360. All right, let's try it again. So up to this jump, not too fast. Little kick out whip, let it land normal, and yacht. Oh, that was greasy. And we're going a little bit long. Now I'm bringing them back too fast, so maybe I need to kick them out longer. Anyway, thanks guys for stopping by. We'll see you in the next one. So long for now.